A few years ago, I went through a huge weight loss transformation, and I realized that one of the reasons why I was so overweight for such a long time was because I was believing these diet myths that I'm about to share with you in this video today. Believing in those myths cost me my self-esteem, my confidence, and even my health for so many years. And now that I know the truth, I really feel like I must share it with everyone who's struggling to lose weight, just like I was for so many years. Diet and weight loss myths are everywhere, from influencers telling you to drink lemon water to help fasten your metabolism, to professionals that tell you that you need to cut carbs and do cardio, or else you just won't see results. And I feel like this got worse with the amount of content that we consume nowadays. Because on social media, we can get so many fake or misleading information that just makes everything more confusing. And sometimes it's easy to spot a lie when it's something so unknown or weird that we can bluntly see it's probably fake. But when those myths come packed with science or when they come from someone who has authority, we can be easily persuaded that it must be true and it must be the right thing to do. This is not to mention that we are unique individuals and we have unique bodies and circumstances. So just because something works for someone else, it doesn't mean that it will work for us too. And this is exactly what makes the first myth that I'm about to share so convincing, because it often comes from professionals who have the best intentions in mind, but they forget that weight loss is not made out of intentions, but out of actions. You have probably heard that weight loss needs to be a steady and slow process that you have to do preferably in a long period of time, especially if you want to lose a lot of weight or if you want to have an expressive transformation in your appearance. But what I found out on my own weight loss transformation is that oftentimes losing weight fast is easier than losing weight slowly. And even though this sounds obvious, it can feel pretty counterintuitive because of how often we hear the opposite. Many professionals say that if you lose weight fast, you will probably gain it back. But this is just not true. The problem with losing weight fast is not so much about time itself, but the problem comes with lack of internal alignment and transformation. Many people spend months or even years on diets and never achieve lasting results because they're not focusing on transforming their minds, their thoughts, and the way they see food and life. This was just my case. I spent more than a decade trying to lose weight with diets and weight loss plans and always failed them miserably. But when I finally understood what was necessary for me to lose weight once and for all, I was able to lose over 60 pounds in only 3 months and keep it off. The truth is that if you have self-knowledge to know exactly where you need to focus and the right mindset, you can absolutely achieve your weight loss results in a short period of time. It's easier to stay consistent when you see constant results and the pounds dropping off every week. That keeps you motivated to stick with your diet and exercise plan, and you keep moving forward towards your goal. So losing weight fast can not only be more sustainable, but more effective as well. Myth number 2 is a myth that most people overlook, and it's largely propagated on social media. There's always that influencer that posts photos of their meal or makes the typical what I eat in a day videos. These pictures and videos come with a promise of inspiration or just a quick curiosity peek into their lives. But for someone who's trying to lose weight, they can be very confusing and misleading. The problem starts with the fact that those people don't often have the healthiest eating habits, but many of them look healthy and slim. And this is where it confuses so many people because we see the things that they eat and we see the way that they look. And we think that if they can eat that and be slim, we can do that too. The reason why this can be so misleading is because First of all, we need to understand that social media is not real life because someone can share what they eat in a day, but we don't know what they eat every day or what is the size of their portions. And there's also the typical belief that you can eat anything you want as long as you burn more calories than you consume. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you eat a cookie or a banana. But this is just not how it works. Not all calories are created the same. And even if two foods have the same amount of calories, your body does not absorb them the same way. And ultimately, you can't exercise a bad diet. Even if an ultra processed snack has the same amount of calories as a banana, your body is not going to process them the same way. Whole foods were made perfect for our bodies. They are literally the perfect match. And when you eat a fruit, your body knows exactly what to expect and what to do with all of those nutrients. Not only that, but even if a cookie and a banana would have the same amount of sugar in them, your body would absorb much more sugar from the cookie than from the banana because fruits have a more complex type of sugar and a higher fiber content in them, which prevents the body from absorbing all of the sugar in it and keeps you full for a longer period of time, reducing future cravings. So, next time you see that influencer who snacks all day and eats anything they want but are still slim, don't try to copy them. Stick to what you know that works. Eat your fruits and veggies and ditch the ultra processed snacks. And since we're talking about snacks, let's jump to myth number 3. I'll be short and blunt on this one. Nobody needs snacks. Unless you have a health condition that requires you to eat every hour or so, you don't need to snack. No, not even healthy snacks. And I would dare to say that snacks are the biggest sabotagers of a diet or weight loss plan. Snacking is a fairly recent concept, and until the 19th century, nobody snacked the way that we do today. People had very busy lives, many kids and chores to do, and no electrical appliances to help them with that. And since there wasn't all of these ultra processed foods from supermarkets around, people usually only ate their main meals. Making food was very time consuming, and it costed more money than it does today. Many poor families ate only 2 meals a day, one before the start of the workday and one after. Some more well off families ate 3 meals a day, but snacking was still very rare. And if it happened, it was on a special occasion, like a holiday or a fruit on harvest season. So snacking was mostly reserved for the rich and wealthy only. And even among the elites, snacking all day long wasn't seen with good eyes. And it would be considered gluttony or lack of self control to be constantly eating. Unfortunately, in our modern era, we almost made this a rule. We are literally told from a young age that we should have a snack between meals and that eating every 3 hours is good for us. But the truth is that eating every 3 hours makes our body tired and lethargic since it's always digesting food. Let me know if you ever felt tired or very sleepy after lunch. A simple solution to that would be to just have a lighter meal. Our bodies work better when we give it time to properly digest the foods that we eat. But if we're constantly eating, we are never giving it that time. And if you remember anything from biology classes, you'll know that not every food takes the same amount of time to be digested. Proteins and fats take a lot longer for our bodies to digest compared to more easy or even complex carbs. The more we eat, the more our body wants more food because it can get addicted to that sugar spike that happens every time we eat ultra processed sugars or something that has less complex carbs. This is why you may find yourself craving for a snack right after breakfast or a lunch, because your body might be addicted to that sugar rush. I recently lost another 18 extra pounds. And one of the things that I absolutely had to do in order to achieve that was to stop constantly snacking. And it's not only good for your body, but it's also good for your wallet. Our grocery bill drastically reduced after we stopped buying all of those snacks and ingredients to make snacks. Now, if I'm really hungry, I'll just grab a fruit and wait for the next meal. The fourth and last myth is that you need breakfast food. This is another myth that we have been almost brainwashed into, because this one is another historically inexistent concept before the 19th century. Back then, breakfast was just a meal like any other. This means that what people ate for breakfast was not very different from what they ate for lunch or dinner. And we can still see the reminiscent of what a regular breakfast looked like if we look at an English breakfast, for example. But with the amount of social, political, and technological changes that happened in the first half of the 19th century, food industries saw the perfect opportunity to introduce the concept of breakfast foods to the population. By the early 60s and 70s, there was a mass movement of women leaving their homes for the workforce, which meant that most of them no longer had the time to prepare good, balanced meals for their families. So the solution was pre-packaged meals like cereals and store-bought bread. But what those people didn't know was that those foods were extremely ultra-processed and high in sugar, which led to an increase of obesity rankings and weight gain in the overall population. I would say that breakfast is indeed our most important meal of the day, because it is the meal that we have right after a long period of fasting. So it is really important to choose good, whole, healthy foods that really nourish our bodies for that. All right, these were the myths that I busted after losing 60 pounds in 3 months. And I really hope that this video helped you to see how those myths could be sabotaging your diet and your weight loss results. And hopefully now you can make better and more conscious choices for yourself from now on. I hope that this video blessed you and inspired you. I'll see you in the next one.